So Brett Favre has Parkinson's. Stay tuned, we'll talk about it. What's up, YouTube? It's this guy, Jeremy McDonald. Let me hear you say it. One of your very favorite people with Parkinson's. Of course, it's Jeremy, also known as J-Mac, Jeremy Mac. Let's do this thing. All right, we're here to talk about Brett Favre, among other things. All my contact information is in the description. Jaymacpodcaster at gmail.com and JeremyMac76 on Instagram. It's the best ways to get a hold of me, but once again, they are in the description. All right, so I got a text from actually several people earlier this week, informing me that Brett Favre had announced at a congressional hearing that he had Parkinson's. Now, for those of you who don't live in the USA, the United States of America, the NFL, Brett Favre was an NFL quarterback. Huge fame. The NFL is probably one of the most brutal sports on the planet. I think hockey's pretty bad too, and then I've seen some rugby matches I wouldn't want anything to do with. I don't think we really play rugby in America, in the United States. But Brett Favre was about as manly as you could get. That's what I'm getting at here, is we're going to talk about like masculinity and how Parkinson's affects that. I kind of touched on this before. But Brett Favre was, or Favre, go figure out. If you're not familiar with the name, it doesn't make any sense how he pronounces it. But the thing is, Brett Favre was like synonymous with manliness. The dude was rugged, tough. Some of the tackles this guy endured, if you Google or go to YouTube and type in Brett Favre tackles, you'll see some true. Oh, there's the phone. Just wait. Okay, it never fails. As soon as I start to record, somebody calls me. But if you, like I said, if you Google or go to YouTube and type in Brett Favre worst tackles, oh my God, some of the stuff he endured was just truly mind-bending. Well, when he testified before Congress, I think it was on a slightly unrelated matter. You have to Google it. Long story. He basically said that because of the concussions that he endured over the span of his NFL career, which was pretty long. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's a very long, very Hall of Fame career. That he believes, or I guess his doctors are telling him, that Parkinson's is as a result of these multiple concussions. I got to be honest with you, I never really hit my head. There was one time when I was like a teenager, I hit it and kind of got lightheaded. I mean, it might have been a concussion, but I have no history of a traumatic brain injury. But people with brain injuries, it's hard because sometimes they're very difficult to diagnose. I know a lot of us have had long journeys towards our Parkinson's diagnosis because it takes so long to rule out stuff. Now, I'm assuming that Brett Favre had some brain scans. I don't know that, but with the CTE, the traumatic brain injuries that happen in the NFL, I think they probably monitor it pretty closely. So when I saw him, and it's hard to judge, he didn't really present as a person with Parkinson's. Now, like, it's medication. You never know when he was on or off, but I'm assuming they might have caught it early, certainly earlier than they caught mine, because I went on and on for years with symptoms. But this dude was a manly dude. He had money, he had fame, he had women. Just everything, glory, everything that a man strives to be. And I would dare say that I would say 75% of the men that listen to this podcast, or even on the planet Earth, would have loved being Brett Favre for a day. So how does that affect like this Uberman, like Ubermensch, like Brett Favre when he gets a Parkinson's diagnosis? I mean, I know I've never considered myself I'm not a tough guy, but I'm manly. I got some chest hairs, you can see. I actually got a farmer's tan right now, which I think is kind of manly. Don't ask me why, but I went walking with my wife yesterday in the sun, and yeah, I got kind of a farmer's tan. I don't know if you can tell my pale skin, but being manly, being masculine is very important to us guys. I mean, not all guys, I should say. For me and a lot of my friends. And I'm not talking about go make me a sandwich woman type thing. I'm just talking about like being able to do manly things, like change the oil, change your car battery, change a tire, mow the lawn, yell at your dog, whatever it is. Get your ass in here. Just like the whole guy thing. And I guess the same could apply to Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. This guy was also at the height of his fame. At the height of his fame, every man, maybe the civil rights things might have made it a little difficult, but every man wanted to have the abilities that Muhammad Ali did. And how do you go from being this, like I said, this Ubermensch, this guy with, that can walk down the street and has hairy arms and gruff voice and maybe smokes a cigarette. I'm not recommending that, but drinking beer, going fishing, got my 4x4, got a Hemi, all the stuff, the typical things that guys equate with manliness, getting in bar fights. Where does all that go? I mean, I know for me, when I would get on stage when I played in a band and things were going well and there was a big crowd and the band was playing good, which fortunately I really only played in good bands, I felt like I freaking owned that bar. I felt manly as hell. Now, it could have just been an inflated ego, but I did feel very manly. Or like when I'd get on my motorcycle, my black Suzuki Boulevard, no guys, it wasn't Harley. I didn't have Harley money. I felt like a man. I felt like a tough guy, even though I wasn't. I would wear my black t-shirt and my black tank top. And when I'd finish mowing the lawn, I'd be all sweaty, feel very manly. I can't do those things anymore. And I know I've looked at the demographics, and probably this channel skews largely to men over 60. So I'm talking to everybody. I mean, I'm sure women, like I said, have their whole. I mean, I can't even imagine some of the things a woman might struggle with. But when a man, maybe you guys can tell me, how have you dealt with your limited abilities now? I mean, I used to be able to walk. My wife would be like, I'm tired, let's go home. I'm like, baby, let's keep walking. I would skateboard in 100-degree heat for hours. I mean, I would get out a sledgehammer and smash up root balls in my garden. Just manly stuff. Can't do any of that anymore. So I guess what it comes down to for me is I can't get my self-worth through my masculinity, although I still consider myself a fairly masculine dude. I don't think that goes away with Parkinson's, but your ability to do guy stuff changes. And I'm not sure, maybe some of the ladies here that either have thoughts of their own or maybe have a husband with Parkinson's can maybe speak to this. Does having PD emasculate your loved one? And I don't know that anybody can really answer that completely honestly. I mean, my wife would tell you no, and I love her, so I'm going to believe her. But on some level, it's like I said in one of my other videos. It just takes away your man card. Like years ago, I was selling a refrigerator, and this older guy and his wife came to pick it up with their son, and he made some comment about, I'm not a man anymore. I got a back injury. I can't lift anything. And I thought, well, that's a really dark way to look at it. I'm not a man anymore. You're always a man. And please, I mean, I'm not trying to be like all, toxic masculinity. I think you guys know me by now. I'm talking about, because I mean, sometimes I think it's difficult in the society right now, at least in America, or the United States, to talk about being masculine, because there's so much other BS flying around about it that's not what it means to be manly or masculine. So yeah, I mean, why don't you leave me something that you used to be able to do that you can't do anymore that you really regret? I mean, I used to go on road trips and just be able to drive for hours and hours and hours. My shoulders would be stiff. I mean, now when we go somewhere, my wife has to drive pretty much 90% of the time. And I feel, that makes me feel not good. All right, that's all I got for this week. By the way, I started a new series. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go over that well, but it's called J-Mac Stories or J-Mac's Hilarious Stories. I think I just made it J-Mac Stories. It's completely non-PD related stories of me and my best friend who passed away in 2016. We recorded all these podcasts of funny stories about our childhood. And so that the first episode of that dropped Friday or Monday. Can't remember. I'll put a link in the description if you want to go watch it. I haven't got a whole lot of feedback. I know this channel is mostly about Parkinson's, but I got to tell you, it really wears on me only talking about PD. All right. As you can see, I'm enjoying my beautiful deck. I got numerous requests to do more videos out on the deck. When it's hot, I can't. It's not fun out here. When it's cold, it's not fun out here. But today's actually a pretty damn nice day. All right. Peace and love from Jeremy's deck in the heartland of Missouri.